Hi, in this tutorial I will show you how to add an item in character creation in Baldur's Gate 3. First step is to prepare our meshes that are going to go into character creation. So I quickly made a circlet and a choker, and I want this in character creation, like available as an option in character creation in Baldur's Gate 3. So first of all, we need to parent the circlet and the choker to our head armature. You don't have to use the head armature per se. For example, if you're making hair, you're gonna want to use hair armature, of course. But for accessories like this and items that go on the head, you will want to use the head armature it's just easier. Alright, so I select my two meshes, then select the armature, then press Ctrl P on your keyboard and object keep transform. And now my circlet and choker are both parented to the armature. Then you want to go down here in the object tab and scroll down. You should have BG3 settings if you have all the add-ons installed. And in here, what you want to do is make sure the export order is in order. So I want to export the circlet and the choker. So the circlet is going to be export order 1 and the choker is going to be export order 2. There you go. So once we're here, we need to add a modifier to each of those meshes. So add an armature modifier here, and once again, you need to parent the circlet to the head armature and the choker as well. There we go. Now they both have the same modifier. Then you go into the data tab, and here we're gonna have to add a vertex group. So you just go in edit mode, select all vertices, then add a group and call it head M. Make sure that it's capitalized like this because otherwise it's not going to work. And then hit assign. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same for the choker. So I go in edit mode, select all vertices by pressing A on your keyboard, then add a vertex group. I'm going to call it head M once again and hit assign. There we go. That's all we need to do. Oh wait, no, before we export this mesh, however, we do need to get rid of the materials. You want to get rid of those because the game doesn't like it when you have several materials in one mesh. So just to make sure, you want to get rid of them. All right, so now that that's done, you can select your choker, your circlet, or whatever mesh you're making, and your armature. Then press Ctrl A and apply all transforms. Alright, so I'm quickly gonna export this using the plugin once again. I'm gonna link that plugin. So I'm just gonna export this here. Already made a folder. Make sure to hit select it only. And then export. Oh wait, I'm gonna call it something. I'm just gonna call it circlet.gr2. You know what? I'm not gonna bother with the complicated name. There we go, export. Oh, by the way, make sure that gr2 is capitalized as well because the game won't read your file if it's not. And then export. And there we go, it's exported. For this second part, you're gonna need my template to add items to character creation, as well as the circlet, the mesh that we just exported, so your mesh basically, as well as the textures that go with it. I already made them just to save time. This tutorial is not about making textures, so I'm not really gonna go over how to make them, but yeah, I've set up the textures just like any other armor. All right, so first we're gonna copy paste those and put them inside our mod. And this is our mod folder here inside called CC item template. I'm gonna rename it right now actually before we go any further. I'm going to call it circlet. You know what? We're gonna call it circlet of love. That's gonna be the name of our mod. There we go. And then you go into generated public. We're gonna need to rename those, but let's do that later. And in here, that's where you want to put all your files. So let me paste it right here. The gr2 goes into meshes and the textures go into textures. inside the skeletons folder, I already put every type of head in the game. So like every head skeleton is already in here. So for example, the item that I just made is only for humanoid, female, standard body type. So that means I'm gonna use this skeleton right here, and it's already set up. So you don't even need to grab those from vanilla. I already put them in here. Okay, so textures are here. I'm just checking, and the meshes, here it is. Okay. All right, so back out. I'm gonna rename this folder to our mod name, Circlet of Love. You want to have a fairly distinctive name for your mod, or at least inside of your folders, just to make sure it doesn't conflict with anyone's mod, you know. Circlet of Love. There we go. Then going back out. Next, we're going to the localization folder, English, and here is where we're gonna set the name of our CC items. Before we do that though, I want you to open up Modder's multi-tool. I'm gonna put a link as well to download this. You're just gonna hit generate, copy this UID that was just created, and then rename this into EN for English, and then whatever your mod name is. So for me, it's Circlet of Love. And then you're also going to paste the UID so that you can make sure, like, you're 100% certain that this name is not already taken. Because if you accidentally overwrite another localization file from another mod or from vanilla, it could cause a lot of trouble for people. So just make sure it's a unique name, and also make sure it ends with .loca.xml. All right, so now that that's done, we can actually open it. I'm gonna edit it with Notepad. There we go. There's our file, and we already have 2 handles generated here, as well as the names here. So how does this work? Basically, I put an X on every line that you need to change. You cannot pass those lines. Like, for example, here I say change handle. That means you need to change that handle. It needs to be unique for your mod to not conflict with any other mod. And why do I have 2 handles here even though I only have 1 item? It's because you need a none option in CC. So in our example, I'm going to add the circlet and the choker as, I think I'm going to add them as a tail and as a facial hair option. And some races, like for example, let's say elves, don't have facial hair, so or tails. So that means that they might not have an option to actually remove whatever item you're setting up here. So we need to have a none option just for people to be able to remove whatever item you're putting in here. Okay, so we have the none option. I'm going to generate a new handle, like I said. So just tick handle here in the multi-tool, and then press generate, then click here in the middle to copy it and paste it right here. And I'm gonna generate a second handle for this. So just generate, copy, and then paste it right here. And now right here, I can change the name of our item. It's going to be Circlet and Choker of Love. This is what people are going to see inside of character creation when you select the option. All right, and of course, if you have several items, you need to copy paste a whole new line. Right here, you paste it, then you generate a new handle and you call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, I think I'm gonna delete these because I'm done with them, just to know that I'm done with them. All right, so this is done. I can save the file, but I will keep it open because I'm gonna need it later. Now back to our mod folder. Going back up to the main folder and then into mods. In here, you're gonna see a folder called CC item. And if we go back out and back into public, there's also a folder called CC item. You want to change the name of these two folders to the same name. They have to be the exact same name, otherwise you're gonna have trouble making the mod work. So I'm gonna call it, once again, Circlet of Love. And in public, Circlet of Love. There we go. Okay, so back into the mods folder, Circlet of Love. And here we have the meta.lsx that I'm gonna open with Notepad. In here is the setup for your mod when you're gonna put it in the mod manager. This is what people are gonna see, so make sure to fill everything. I put an X next to everything you need to worry about. So right here, your name is your author name. For me, it's Linnea Ra on Nexus Mods. Unfortunately, Linnea is not available. Very sad about that. So here you need to put the mod description. For me, it's gonna be Circlet of Love for it's gonna be just for femme body type 1 elves because I'm kind of lazy and this is just an example, so I don't need to make it available for everyone. By the way, if you want to make your item available for different body types and races, you're gonna need to refit the item. You're gonna need to have one version per fit, basically one GR2 model per fit. And yeah, it becomes a bit it's a lot, but it's worth it, you know. Oh no, I had little arrows here and they don't show in Notepad. Oh well. Here is the mod folder name. That is the name of the folder that we just renamed. So this is the name. I'm just gonna copy it, paste it here. Then down here is your mod name. My mod name is Circlet of Love. And here you need to generate a new ID. So just untick handle, generate, copy, paste it. There we go. And this is the version number. To get that, you can go in Baldur's Gate 3 Mod Manager, Tools, and then toggle version generator window. And right here, for example, let's say it's the version 2. I just go to version 2. Let's say it's version 2.1, and I just copy this and paste it here. Okay. But I don't want it. It's version 1, so I'm gonna put it back to version 1. Copy, paste. There's 2 places where you need to paste it. Okay, so we are done with this. I can just delete that. There we go. When we're done with this file, you can save it and quit the file. And go back to our mod folder. So this is where we were. I just go up and back inside of public. And in here, I'm gonna start with content, assets, characters. And here, I'm gonna rename this folder to our mod. Here, you need to make sure that the folder name starts with this. You cannot remove this suffix. You need to keep this. And then Circlet of Love. Okay, now going inside, we're gonna go through each of these files one by one. So let's open the materials first. This is our material and texture banks. I call this file just materials because this is where we set up our materials that are gonna go on our meshes. So you can have several materials. for several models and meshes and whatever. And just so you know where the materials stop and start, basically I put comments here to tell you that if you wanted several materials, you could just copy from here to here, copy this, then go under it and paste it right here and just rename to material 2 just so that you don't get lost. That's how you get several materials, for example. But we only need one for our purposes. All right, so in here, you want to generate a new ID for your material. So I'm just gonna hit generate, copy, paste right here. That's done. Then I want to change the name of our material. This is gonna be circlet and choker material. It doesn't really matter actually what name you put here because it never gets referenced, but just for clarity, it's good to change it. The line below, I didn't put any comment or anything, but this is the shader you're using. So right now we're using the Charbase Alpha Test 2 sides dither shader. This is a shader that allows for transparency and double-sided textures. Like it generates the 2 sides basically. This is the one I use all the time because it has everything I want. But if, for example, you wanted something that glows or something that uses vertex cuts or whatever, you're gonna need to use another shader, and you're gonna probably need different texture parameters. But for simple stuff, this covers our bases, so I'm not gonna change it. All right, so down here you can see scalar parameters. Normally in VS Code, you can collapse using comments, but here you can't. In Notepad++ you cannot. So, well, too bad. I'm just gonna collapse doing this just to get this out of the way because you don't need to touch the scalar parameters at all. You can just ignore those. Down here, texture parameters. We're gonna need to generate a new ID for each texture. So let's start with the base color here. Just gonna generate a new ID, then copy. Then here I select this and make sure that this time you do Control H on your keyboard to replace all instances of this UID. So here, I just pasted the new one right here and then hit replace all. And it replaced it 2 times, which is what we want. Okay, so this is done. Then here I'm gonna do the same, generate, copy, Control H, paste, replace all. There we go. And then once again for the physical map, Control H, paste, replace all. And here for the mask, MSK color. Generate, copy, and then paste. There we go. All right, now that that's done, down here you can see color parameters. So for my circlet, I'm gonna show you actually. Circlet of love. There we go. So this is my MSK for my circlet. As you can see, I use 2 color parameters to add color to my circlet because I wanted to do it through code instead of having the color directly into the texture, because this way I can actually teach people to go into the code and change the color value to whatever they want so that they can change the color to whatever they want, because that is a limitation of having an item in character creation, is that dyes do not work on them. You cannot dye them, and if you put stuff in the horn slot, you can also use the horn shader to be able to color that item using the horn color, but that's also kind of limited to the horn colors, and also you have to have it in the horn slot. So yeah, I prefer this because this is the more flexible method in my opinion. So I just do it like this. All right, so as I said, I had two parameters, so two colors basically. It's gonna be the gem and the gold around it. And right here inside of my template, I put a screenshot. This is a screenshot of the wiki with all the color parameters. If you don't know at all what I'm talking about, this is about MSK color, and it's the same principle as when you want your armor or whatever equipment to be dyeable. Sorry, it's not very clear, but I'm not supposed to be teaching you about how to make textures or anything, so I'm just gonna go over this quickly. So as I said, I'm using two colors, which are metal primary and accent. I think that's what I'm using for my MSK. So I need here to put metal primary, and I need to copy this color parameter, paste it to have a second one, and this one is accent color. Oh, let me check. Yes, it's accent color. So accent color, there we go. I put as well a little tutorial on how to find the value here, the color value. So I'm just gonna go there and pick a color. I'm just gonna follow the tutorial. All right, so I want gold metal. I think this is gonna be a good gold color. Then down here for the gem, I want it to be blue. Just to show you, by the way, the website in question. Yeah, let's go with a standard sky blue, I guess. Or maybe, yeah, something like this I like. So I just copy this, then paste it here and remove the commas. There we go. All right, let me save just in case. So this is done. The material is set up. Then down here, we need to set up the textures. So this is the texture bank, and here are every texture we need to set up. Let's start with the base map, base color map. So I'm going to change the name to, actually let me go back in our mod folder just to copy paste the names. It's going to be easier. And so the textures, this is Circlet VM. There we go. Then I can put the name right here. And here you put the path to the texture, which is, well, first the name of the texture is this. And also I did change the folder names, so I need to make sure to change that too. So it goes into generated public circlet of love. So generated public circlet of love. And then pack circlet of love. Pack circlet of love. That's all good. By the way, if your textures aren't 1024 by 1024 pixels, you need to change this right here. So let's say your textures are 2K, you need to change this to 2048, for example. But for our purposes, I think that 1024 is good enough, is big enough. Now I can just do the same for the normal map below. So I changed the name. This is a normal map. I'm gonna copy this as well. Put the normal map path. You don't need to touch the UIDs, by the way, we already changed those. And then right here, it's the physical map, so the PM. And copy all of this, paste it here. This is the PM. There we go. And this is the mask, MSK. And then the path to the MSK texture. There we go. Now we've put the path to each of our textures. That's what's important here. Oops, what did I do? Sorry. So that's done. I'm just gonna save and leave this open because we're gonna need this UID later on. Next, going back to our mod folder. So we were inside of public, circlet of love, content, assets, characters, circlet of love, and in here we just did the material bank, the materials. So we just need to continue on and do the skeleton bank next. All right, so this is already kind of pre-made because, as I said, I already put all the skeletons in the closet in the skeletons folder, so there's not much to change, but you still need to generate new IDs and all that just to prevent conflict with other mods. So in here, we're gonna generate a new ID, generate, copy, paste right here. There we go. And here is going to be the name of the skeleton. As I said, we're going to use the human head base skeleton. So the name is already set up, so I'm not gonna change it. As well as the path. Well, the path did change because we did change the folder names. So we need to make sure to change those here as well. So I'm going to change this to circlet of love. And then here as well. There we go. Copy this and paste here. Oops. And remove .gr2. There we go. So this is the same path as above, except it ends with .demiroot.0 instead of .gr2. Okay, so we're done with the paths. And that's it. That's all we need to do here. Save the file. Then let's open the visual bank. This is where we set up everything. It's basically where we tell the game where our meshes are and also what material and what skeleton to assign to what meshes. All right. Down here, generate a new ID. So let's generate a new one. Paste it here. There we go. Then change the name. Here you can put the name of your mesh. So for us, it's going to be circlet and choker. Right here, this line needs skeleton remap. If you're making hair, you're going to need this to be set to true. I mean, if you're making auto snapping hair, not all hair is created equal though. Some hair are not auto snapping, in which case you need to keep this to false. We're not even making hair though in this example, so you can keep it at false. Doesn't matter. All right, then here we need to paste the skeleton UID. And where do we find that? It's in our skeleton bank right here. I'm just gonna copy this, then paste it here. There we go. This is our skeleton ID. Then down here, this line, the slot line. So you can put several things here. For example, head, hair. You can even put armor stuff like helmet and all that, or body or whatever. But it only matters if you put hair in here. The rest doesn't matter. You want to keep it at heads actually. But if you want your circlet or whatever item you're making to disappear under hoods and helmets, for example, you can change this to hair and that will happen. It will behave like hair. It will get hidden underneath helmets and hoods. But I want mine to stay, so I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep it as head. Okay, so here is the path to our mesh, to our item.gr2. We need to change the path. So circlet of love and pack circlet of love. Oops. Meshes. Let's check though, just in case. So it's in generated, public, circle of love, pack circle of love, meshes, circlet.gr2. It's what we just exported from Blender earlier. All right, then copy this and paste it right here. There we go. Our paths have changed. They are fixed. Now down here, you can assign materials to your meshes. So for example, I have the circlet and the choker in my blend file, in my GR2. So first we need to put the material right here. They use the same material. Because I'm lazy, I didn't want to make several different materials, but as I said earlier, you can copy paste all this material and make another one for another mesh. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty flexible. So this is what we want. This is the material UID that you find in the material bank. I just copy it and then paste it right here. So as I said, they both have both the circlet and the choker have the same material. So I just paste it twice, and I'm gonna rename the meshes here. It's not very important, but it's for your own sake. It's for clarity that we change the names here. Otherwise, the order is what's important. So if you remember, we set the export order of our circlet to 1 and the export order of our choker to 2. And you need to have the same order right here. So this first one is going to be the circlet, and the second one is going to be the choker. And you might have noticed that right here I have .0 and .1. It's because it starts with 0 here, but in Blender it starts with 1. It doesn't matter. Just the order matters, basically. All right, let me remove this and this. We don't need those anymore. You don't have to delete those, by the way, if you want to keep them, the little notes. I removed them because I found it to be cleaner this way. And now our visual bank is set. I saved the file, and I can go back to the skeleton bank and close it, as well as the material bank. Can close that too, but I need to keep the localization and visual bank files open. All right, back to our mod folder, going back up, we're going to public, then character creation, and we need to open this file. I'm gonna rename it first to whatever our mod is. So you can only change the first part here. You could even remove it if you wanted and have only character creation appearance visuals. But I like having a unique name here just for clarity, and also in case you want several of these files, they get merged anyway. So you can have several if you want to separate things, if you want to separate the code. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to call this circlet of love dot character creation appearance visuals.sx. There we go. And then open this up. First of all, I'm gonna link Mini Tool by Padme 4000, which is really useful to set up this file in particular and other things as well. But I often use it to set up this file because it's just faster when your character creation item is available to several different races and body types. It can be very tedious to set up this file, and the mini tool will help you automate that. All right, so in here, this is basically the file that tells the game what to show in character creation. So we want it to show only on elves. I just decided only on elves because I'm too lazy. No, actually, you know what? It's gonna be full for elves and drows. I just decided. We already have 2 nodes set up in here. These are just examples, but we can keep them and just go through them and change things. So for example, here, the first thing you want to change is this handle here, which is what we generated previously in here. So I'm just gonna copy this handle for the none option, because we do need the none option, if you remember. Paste it here. So this is the none option. I also need a none option for drows, I said, We'll get to it after we're done with the first one. Okay, so race UID. This is where we put the race UID, and here is the list of the races UIDs. So our circlet is going to be available for elves and drows. So I just copy the elf UID and then paste it right here. It's already done actually, so nothing changed. Down here is the slot name. So for the slot name, right now, today, there are no official modding tools out yet for Baldur's Gate 3. And I don't know if it's gonna change, but we only have limited slots in character creation. So we can only use what's already available to us, which is basically this. This is the list of slots that are available. You can also use Dragonborn, what was it? Dragonborn Chin, Dragonborn Top, I think, and Dragonborn, what was it? I think it was Cheeks or something like that. I don't remember. I don't want to invent anything. But these Dragonborn slots are only usable when you make auto snapping hair, basically. Only when you make auto snapping stuff that totally adjusts to whatever race you're putting it on. Only then can you use those slots, because you cannot set them in character creation appearance visuals. You need to set them in character creation shared visuals instead, and that's a whole other thing that you can only do for auto snapping hair, basically. So we're not going to worry about that. We only have these slots to work with. So obviously we're not setting up a head because you don't want to replace someone's head with an accessory, right? Unless you do want to do that, in which case go ahead. I'm not judging. You can also put it in horns, for example, in hair. But then again, if you put it in hair, then people are not going to be able to have hair alongside your mesh or whatever you're making. You can also put it in tail and beard. So I found out that tail and beard, of course, and horns are the best slots for accessories. And I've noticed that people prefer when I use the beard slot for my mods instead of the tail slot, which I mean is understandable. So I decided for this example that I want the circlet to be available in both the tail and the beard slot at the same time, so that people can choose whatever they want without needing to install different versions of the mod. Let's say that this is going to be the beard node. I'm just going to keep it as beard. Then right here, I need to generate a new ID. Copy, paste. This is the none option. This is a completely randomly generated ID. So I'm gonna generate one, paste it, and this leads to nothing. That's on purpose because it's supposed to be the nothing option. So it leads to nothing. And then down here for the drow. So actually I'm gonna delete it and copy paste this again. There we go. And I'm just gonna change the race UID. So where is it? Drow is right here. Copy and drow. No, race UID here. There we go. Oh, I forgot to explain as well this body shape and body type. So 0 is standard body type, strong is 1, feminine is 1, and masculine is 0 for the body type. Alright, so now that we replaced the race UID to be the drow one, we also need to generate a new ID for this. So generate, paste it, generate again for the none option. Paste it. This goes nowhere. It's on purpose. I need to rename this to drow. Not drown, drow. There we go. We're gonna put our actual CC item node. So I'm gonna rename this to Circlet and Choker of Love. That's kind of long. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put circlet and choker. All right. Here we're gonna need to put the handle that we previously generated. So I'm just copy it, then paste it here. Okay. Then race is already set up for elves. Then slot is yes, beard. And here I need to generate a new ID. So generate, copy, paste. Here we need to paste the visual bank UID. So if I go to my visual bank, this is the ID that I need to copy and then paste right here. There we go. Then I need to copy this and do the same for Drowse. So just copy the race ID, paste it here. I do need to generate a new ID. There we go. Then paste it here. And I do not need to change the visual ID because Drowse and Elves are going to use the same circlet and choker that I set up in the visual bank. Okay, so this is the beard slot done. Now I need to copy all of this. Copy all of this. Then, you know what? I'm going to make a comment. Tail slot below. There we go. And paste all of this. Okay. And now instead of beard, I want tail. So just put tail everywhere. There we go. And we are done, I think. Let's save. I think we can close everything. Let's save, close. Okay, so let's test it. Let's drag and drop our mod folder into the blue square. And here is our mod, all packaged. And then I go into the mod manager. I'm just gonna drag and drop the package. Here's our mod, Circle of Love. All right, I'm gonna put it all the way down just to make sure nothing else interferes with it. So here's our mod. I just put it in the active mods category, then press save, load, order, and then I'm gonna launch the game and we're gonna see if this worked in the first place. And if there's an issue, well, I guess this video is gonna be longer than expected because I'm gonna troubleshoot right with you. Alright, so we're gonna test it in a new game. So, if we remember correctly, the circlet should be available for elves and drows, feminine body type 1. Oh, there we go. Already we have... Oh, wait. Oh, that's weird. We don't have the facial hair option. Why? Did I forget to... Oh, yeah, you know why? See, I forgot to do something very important. Let me delete this. Go back to public, character creation, open this up. We forgot, I forgot, I can't blame you, to change the UIDs. So since we didn't change them, all the nodes up here for the beard slot got overwritten with the nodes for the tail slot, basically. So that's why we need unique IDs down here. All right, generate. Here we go, yay, save. Alright, hopefully this time it works. Drag and drop the mod folder. Then in here I'm gonna delete the old one just to make sure. Drag and drop, save, launch game, create a new game. Alright, now logically, yes, here it is. Facial hair and tail. So if we go, for example, for humans, as you can see, no tail. It's because we only set it up for elves. All right, so let's check it out. This is the circlet. Oh my god. Oh wait, did I forget to set up the colors? Huh, I'm not sure why. Okay, let's check the tail. Here's the none option. Here's the circlet that we just added. By the way, if you want to set up icons, well, there's Kay's icon template on Nexus Mods that you can use. I'll link it to you as well. So let's check why the colors aren't set up correctly. I'm gonna quit the game and open up our materials. So I know that we properly have linked the material ID to the visual bank and whatever. I also know the textures are good because it was textured, it just wasn't colored. Maybe it's the MSK that I didn't set up. Yeah. All right, so since the MSK controls the color mapping, I noticed that this ID is different from this one up here, which means I simply forgot to do Control H to replace all, and I only replaced it up there. Okay, there we go. So now the MSK is probably mapped to our material. Should work this time, so let's try again. Still no color. Why? Okay, so you're going to laugh, but the reason why the colors weren't appearing was because I forgot to save the file. But here it is, finally. Our beautiful circlet and necklace. Also, I just realized that for the choker, I set it to head M as vertex group when I should have set it to neck instead. I think it's neck M, the name of the vertex group. But yeah, I shouldn't have set it to head M because now it moves with the head, but the neck moves independently from the head. So yeah, that's why it moves weirdly here. But yeah, that's something that you set up in Blender basically. But yeah. The colors are here. They're not great. I mean, this is supposed to be gold. I don't know, the shaders and all that are a bit weird. Some stuff doesn't appear right, especially for very reflective and metallic stuff. I'm gonna proceed, actually, and look in-game. See in-game what it looks like. Ooh, here we are. With our beautiful circlet of love. And our weird... the necklace. But yeah, the circle is flawless, but the choker is, yeah, it goes through the neck, as I said. It's cool though, it's cool. It also shows up in the little portrait, and don't worry about it. If you go visit the mirror and remove the circlet, then your portrait will update and it will be removed here as well. Actually, wait, let me try to put on a helmet or something just to see. So this is from the mod Basket Full of Equipment. And it gives you all of that stuff, all that good equipment stuff. So let's try a hood first. Yay! It's still there under the hood. Nice. Circlet, another circlet. You can layer them like this. That's pretty fun. It goes over the hat. Interesting. So yeah, let's try a helmet. Yeah, see it clips through the helmet. So as I said, you can change the slot name to hair in the visual bank for it to be hidden under helmets and stuff. All right, well, I guess that's it. Hopefully this tutorial was not as bad as I think it is and it helped you. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the modding discords. I'm on Larian Discord as well if you want to ping me if there's something in this video that you don't understand. But yeah, that's it. Happy modding.